how do I find other musicians to play with?
So one of the struggles that most people encounter as a musician or somebody who's working on becoming a musician for the first time, and I say that because everybody can become a musician, is finding other people to communicate with. And I use the word communicate on purpose. So let's now talk about another metaphor. Language, spoken language. If you, let's say you didn't know any people and you were learning English for the very first time. Well, if you weren't able to talk to anybody, and let's say you had a book, and the only thing that you could do is read this book and read these little English phrases that are in this book. I don't know how you would do that. I guess you'd have to know another language first, but just assume you could do that, right? Actually, it's a better analogy if we say you already know English and then you are, learning Spanish, for example, of the book to be able to read the book. You can read it in English and you're trying to learn these phrases in Spanish. But in terms of music, you're going from not knowing the language of music to knowing the language of music. So we're going from 0 to 1. So let's again assume that you don't know anything about speaking the English language. You don't know how to talk at all. You don't have any other languages that you can speak. And somehow you're able to look at this book and learn English from this book. The point is, you would only be able to see what's in the book, regurgitate the few things that you picked up from the book, and that's it. You have a few bits and pieces of sentences or phrases that you might use in certain scenarios. For example, like, how do I go to the bathroom? Or can I order a burrito? Or whatever it is. You would only be able to do those things, to repeat those same phrases right there. But if you don't talk to anybody else, you can't have a conversation. And only when you have a conversation do ideas evolve organically and lead somewhere, right? More ideas, just like a flower, the ideas unfold as you converse, as you have the conversation. Music is exactly the same way. Music is a language, and playing music with other people, unless you are just rehearsing, playing a song, regurgitating, if you're jamming, if you're improvising, you're literally just having a conversation. And just like a flower, the conversation will unfold as you play, as you go. And if you don't do that, then you can't develop that skill. And it is a skill, which means you can learn how to do it. And the only way to learn how to do it is by doing it, just like anything else. But if you sit alone in your bedroom all the time, the chances of you only being able to regurgitate bits and pieces of songs that you have played, and you can kind of improvise with some backing tracks or something like that, but that's all you'll really be able to do. You won't be able to really become a good conversationalist in terms of music unless you play with other people. Why? Because even if you improvise by yourself, first of all, if you just play songs, there's no creation that goes into that. You're just regurgitating previous songs. You might be able to add your own style to it or something, but it's still, the structure is already there. If you're improvising, let's say to a backing track, you can create ideas that way. Like, you're going to get some ideas, but what happens with any new backing track is that you start to listen to the track and you start to have some musical ideas with that track. And the more that you listen to that track, you develop those same ideas that you had. But after that, there isn't anything else, because you're not receiving any more input, any more information, any new musical information, because the backing track is always the same every time you hit play. So you're going to have the same ideas. Unless you go play with other people and see their ideas and converse musically with them, your playing won't change. It won't evolve. So the question is, I know the question is not about like, what's the benefits of playing with other people? It is, how can I play with other people? How do I find other people to play with? I just want to emphasize the importance of doing that, because doing that is really what elevates you to the level of being a real musician, where you can just sit down and have a conversation with other people in music. And that's where the magic is, right? That's where the fulfillment is for the most part. So how would you find other people? Well, it depends on where you live. If you have an internet connection, there are places you can go to jam with friends. And in fact, if you have a friend that plays music now with technology, even across the world or, across the country or whatever, if you can't meet with them in person, there are ways to go to the computer. Even if you just do a Zoom call or something like that, you can still jam with people, etc., assuming you have a good internet connection. Assuming there are local people in your area and you don't like live in an igloo on Antarctica and there's literally nobody anywhere, what I would say is there's always a music scene in any town, no matter if it's big or small. What you could do is find some local shows, just start going to some local concerts and just starting to meet people and, see who plays, and just starting to get introduced to them and see if you can join up with them to play something. If that's not your thing and you're not really into that, you can maybe go to a church, because church definitely has musicians there. See if you can get involved. You can also go to a class. if there's a guitar school or a music school or teachers or things like that in your local area, even if there's one teacher, well, the teacher will teach other students. So you can just ask the teacher, hey, what about your other students? Can we meet each other? Can we jam together? Can we do something? So those are other outlets to be able to meet people in terms of being able to jam together. But I think the easiest thing is if you just have a friend who happens to play music, or a family member, maybe you have a grandchild or a son or daughter, or your parents play, or somebody plays that just see if you can get together sometime. Like let's have dinner and just jam. And even if it's always intimidating at the beginning, in fact, it's probably always intimidating anyway, just jamming with people, especially people who are a lot better than you. But it's okay. It's okay that you don't really know what to play. It's okay that the other person really doesn't know what to play. If they don't, it doesn't matter. You just start and you just learn as you go. Like I said, it's conversation. And once you just start playing something, even if somebody just starts playing one chord, it starts the conversation, and that will give the other person ideas. And even if they have to try to tinker around on the guitar and play the wrong notes and mess up a bunch, who cares? They're trying to figure out that opinion, that musical opinion that they have as you're playing, and just let it happen. Let the mistakes happen. Let the wrong notes, the wrong chords, or whatever happen. You'll find the groove. You'll find a thread. You'll find some things that sound good. And then once you lock in, it feels amazing. And then you'll want to do it again. And then you'll want to do it again. And then you want to do it again. And before you know it, you'll start to get really, really good at this.
Yeah, for me, finding the best players have been mostly at church, but also I'm fortunate. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. So there are some places, if you're ever lucky, open jams where you just show up. There's a drum kit, a piano, and you bring a guitar or whatever, and you get a jam with some world class musicians. That's always fun too. So
Yeah,
got to move to Nashville.
that's the answer, right? Just move to Nashville.
Or Austin. I think Austin's like the live music capital of the world. So that's kind of
So they say.
so they say. Yeah, it's probably actually like Muscle Shoals or something. I don't know. So. Cool, awesome. Hey, thanks so much for watching that video. That was just a short clip of one of our longer Q&A videos. If you're interested in watching some more of those videos, then I recommend you hit the subscribe button over here. It's really awesome. Also, we got more videos over here, so check some out if you're interested in learning more about breakthrough guitar or advancing your guitar skills. Peace.